Hi everybody, welcome to another studio vlog. The week started off pretty rainy. It rained all day on Monday, so I didn't get much of a walk in. So I just continued really with my usual routine. After that, obviously, with my morning admin routine, where I go through my the notes I make during my morning pages when I write my morning pages. And then I sort of disperse them into two to-do lists, my work and my home to-do lists, and then choose what to do for today. So that's what you can see me doing here. I had a bit of a wobble at the start of the week, which has kind of resurfaced throughout the week, to be honest, about why I'm doing these studio vlogs and if there's any point. And it's obviously incredibly self-conscious doing this kind of thing, and there's huge benefits for me doing them because they keep me quite motivated to do as much work as I can basically during the week. And it is nice to feel that I'm not doing it all completely alone. If I go on my walks and I see something nice and I think, oh, I could film this, it sort of, perfectly selfish reasons makes me feel like I'm not doing everything alone, so there's a reason for me doing the studio vlogs in that sense. But yeah, it is obviously incredibly self-conscious, and I'm always thinking, oh God, nobody wants to see this. This isn't interesting. This is boring. Because obviously, these are things I'm doing every day, day in, day out, week in, week out. I'm always going for the same walk in the same place, working in the same notebooks usually. So for me, I'm like, why am I even showing this? But hopefully it's interesting. Anyway, so I sort of powered through those thoughts and doubts, and I just thought, well, I don't know if it's worth it, but I might as well just carry on and keep doing them really and just see what happens. I'm sure over time I'll learn which things I feel comfortable sharing and which things I don't, and which things I kind of get positive feedback on. I'm not obviously going to change my life according to, feedback, but obviously change what I share. The rain continued throughout Monday. So after my morning routine, I started working on. I sort of redesigned the graphics for my studio vlogs. I thought I'm going to make a go of this. I'm going to try and do them weekly, and I made a playlist on YouTube. So if you look on my playlist, I think they're public. You should be able to see a vlog playlist, and they should all come up in order. So Tuesday started off a little bit better. I was feeling a little bit more positive. Obviously the sun shining helped. And I decided to have another crack at cutting out my stickers, printing and cutting out my stickers, because my printer ink and paper arrived at the weekend. So this is me printing and cutting out all the stickers, and thankfully they all worked. So all the troubles I had with it last week, it was all worth it because everything was pretty much ready to go on Tuesday. So this is the botanical date stickers, the Japanese spring flower date stickers, and I lined them all up to make sure I wasn't missing any by number before packing them into little paper bags. So I'm just trying to do a really slow pan shot here to show you I quite liked how they looked all lined up like this, and just to kind of so you can see all the flower designs. And then there's a freebie sticker to go inside, my Emily Pencil logo, and I actually designed a special Emily Pencil logo sticker to seal the paper bags with as well. I decided, until further notice, I'm going to do that. I'm going to design a special logo sticker for each one, because that way when I look at the packets I know what's inside, according to which logo. So this is the logo for the botanical date stickers. I just did the daisies behind. So that's what they look like all packed up, and I've done 10 packets, and at some point hopefully I can reopen my Etsy shop and they will be available if anybody would like some. And then next up, these are kind of pictures from my sketchbook. So I'd called them flower girls because they're all girls with flowers. Well, actually, they're not. 3 of them are girls with flowers. And one of them is a book with flowers. Because they all came from the same sketchbook page, I thought I'd sort of put them all together in a little pack. So I printed out, I think I did 10 of these as well. So again, these are going to go in these paper bags, obviously trying to not use too much plastic. When I ship things, I will do a layer of plastic, 1 layer on the outside of everything, so that, if it rains and the envelope gets wet, at least the contents don't get wet, but as much as possible, just paper. So that's the logo I designed for this set, which is the dandelion, with my logo in the centre. Sorry if you hear me drinking tea while I do this voiceover. I'm trying to do this voiceover in a sort of relaxed manner because I feel sort of not nervous, but I feel sort of a little bit anxious about doing these vlogs at the moment. So I've got myself a cup of tea and a new microphone, actually. It's like a clip-on mic, so I'm not even holding anything in my hands, so I can be as relaxed as possible. So yeah, those are just some photos I took just to end the day on Tuesday. Wednesday was a beautiful day, gorgeous weather, and I went for a lovely walk, which I'm going to share with you now, so enjoy! Hi, it's Wednesday. Yes, it's Wednesday. I've just been for the most beautiful walk. It's gorgeous, perfect weather, sunny, but there's a really cool breeze, as you can see, blowing. And I've got to get back inside and I don't want to. It's so nice. I'm so lucky to live somewhere where I can drive 2 minutes to somewhere, so beautiful. Anyway, I've got to go back to the office and get something done today. So I just have a quick stare out the window and then I'll head back. So back in the in my workroom, my office, I was feeling quite nervous on Wednesday because I had a meeting in the afternoon at my son's nursery, which I always find a little bit, well, I get nervous about it because obviously I don't speak that great Japanese, and for me it's such an important thing to be doing, talking to teachers about your child's progress and how they are, and because I can't understand it, I feel like I'm letting him down, sort of thing. So I was kind of, a little bit nervous. So on the morning of that day, I kind of let go a little bit of pressure to do certain things, and I just kind of went with the flow a little bit, and I just did what I felt in the mood to do, which I think is really important to do from time to time. You can't force things all the time. So I had a little sort of play in my work planner, and then I decided I was just going to stick all my date stickers down in my Hobonichi. And as you can see from all of the post-it notes, I haven't properly written in here or done anything in here for a long time. Well, nearly 2 weeks, I guess. But what I had been doing was writing down on a little sticky notes from the day, so that at some point, and I'm saying if I come back and feel in the mood to do the pages, I don't have to think too hard about what I did that day. So it's just fun to stick stickers down sometimes when you're feeling a little bit off. And it was nice to see what the date stickers looked like on the page as well, actually. And I prepped the pages previously with some watercolour paint left from my palette. And then next up I thought, I probably ought to do my homework from the morning pages. So I sat down to try and do that. Just kind of going through things I'd highlighted on my Kindle that I wanted to note down and remember. And I'm writing notes in my MD notebook, an A6 one. It's a grid one in one of my lovely Hobonichi covers. So these are all notes about things that things I liked in the book, and then the homework tasks, really. But I had kind of mixed results doing the homework. I don't know, I guess I was just feeling distracted on this day, and I couldn't think of any answers to any of the questions. And they're good questions. She's trying to, in this chapter, she's trying to encourage you to think about fun things that you might have avoided doing because you adult too much. But it was so hard. So I left some of this footage in because I just thought it was amusing how much I was struggling, really. I'm not the best student about homework, let's be honest.
Can't think of anything. Oh, Jesus Christ. 5 things you personally would never do sound fun. Why don't you do that list? Because if it sounded fun, I'd do it. Excellent. Don't have to do that one. Right.
Okay, I've given up on doing my morning pages homework. It was asking me to think too much about what was fun and fun things I like doing, and I'm not that great at fun, clearly, because I couldn't think of anything. And I've been trying to do that homework. It's April homework. It's now May. I mean, obviously, that's just the way I'm choosing to do it. 1 chapter for April. 1 chapter each month, I mean. But, yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't concentrate on it today. I just feel a bit like, I don't want to do this. I want to just get on with doing things. So, I've just grabbed from downstairs some posts that came yesterday. I bought a new ink online, secondhand, because if possible, wherever possible, I'm buying everything secondhand because I don't want to, things to be wasted. So it's another Pilot Iroshizuku, this time in the colour Inaho. I don't know what Inaho means. It looks like a green. It looks greener than I thought. I thought it was more of a brown, because I was after a brown ink to try drawing some outlines with brown ink. So basically I'm just going to try that out. I've wiped it with alcohol wipes because I don't know which prefecture it came from, and I'm sure the person sending it was perfectly clean, but pandemic and everything. Anyway, so it's been wiped and I've washed my hands when I opened the envelope. So yes, I'm going to try that out now, I think. Okay, so currently I've got this Pilot Kakuno pen inked up with the green ink, which is Shinryoku. And I love it. It's so nice. Sometimes I randomly grab the pen. I mean, I inked it up so that I could do drawing with it. But this morning, I needed to grab a pen just to write a note down. And I used this, and I was like, oh, it's quite nice. Like just for everyday writing. So it was quite nice to have that lying around. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just swatch it with a paintbrush to begin with. So the inner hole I'm going to do with a paintbrush, and then I'll put it in a pen, I think. So maybe if I just get it from out the lid. I don't need a lot. It looks like a sort of olivey green. I'll have to check my little yes, it's an olive. It's lovely though. Isn't that nice? Yeah, it's like an olivey greeny brown. Okay, I've just paused the camera to wash my brush. I'm just gonna actually paint out with the paintbrush some of the Shin-Yoku as well, just next to it. Just because, why not? I know what colour it is, but I just want to put it next to it. Yeah, so it's definitely like a green. I would say there's a green rather than a brown. But when I put it in to a pen, it might look darker. So let's see what happens. I'm being lazy. I can't be bothered to go downstairs and clean my water thing. So I'm using my mixing palette to rinse, and then I'm using my snack bowl with the clean water in, because I can't be bothered to go down and clean my normal paint thing. It's fine, I'll wash it properly before we have more snacks. Right, it's actually a rice bowl actually. Okay, so ink. I need to put it in one of my ink pens. I don't know which one to use. Whoops. I might use this clear one. I mean, I'm using a Pilot Kakano because I have like plenty of them. I'll probably use this clear one, but I'm going to change the nib because I don't want extra fine. This is an EF. Probably can't focus. EF extra fine. Now an extra fine Japanese nib, well, especially a Pilot nib, an extra fine is actually much finer than a, I guess, European, US nib. I think the Kakano F fine, like basically the Japanese, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think the Japanese Pilot nibs especially are finer than the ones in America. So a Japanese fine is probably an American extra fine. So a Japanese extra fine is like ridiculous and it's too scratchy. So I'm going to steal a nib off. What am I? Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Yes, I'm going to steal a nib off here, and you just pull them off if you do it gently. Ugh. And then that bit comes off there. So I can actually... So that looks funny now, doesn't it? It doesn't have anything on it. So I can put... Take the extra fine off. Put the fine on. And they should all fit. I don't think there's they're interchangeable. The Pilot ones anyway. Put that in there. Click. Okay. And then to get the ink in, I'm going to use one of these refillable things. Now, the idea with these, I think, is you're supposed to be able to dip either this or the nib, once it's like in the pen, into the ink, and then you're supposed to sort of suck it up by twisting this, and it pulls the ink in. Well, I find that it's a bit unsatisfactory, and you end up with ink all over here and all over the page. So I'm going to use a dropper. I got these from 100 yen shop, so they're nothing fancy, to kind of get it into here, basically. Wish me luck. So you can see if I can, come on, focus. I can't really make it focus because, okay, there we go. Ah, the ink's dripping. So I just kind of put it in here. And then pull this down a bit, and it usually pulls it in. And then put a bit more in. It's really hard to kind of make sure this is focused at the same time as doing the ink, so sorry about that. You have to be careful when you do this in case you go the wrong way and you shoot the ink out the top. But I think I'm going the right way. Yes. Give it a tap maybe. So that's full. And I should have opened this. Shoot with one hand. Pop that on there. And then lots and lots of shaking and faffing around to try and get the ink down. Okay, and I'll be back to show you what that looks like coming out of the pen. So I keep the ink droppers in a separate bag, sealed so they don't get lost. And the idea is being that I can kind of guess from the colour which one is for which ink, so I don't kind of mix them up and change the colours. Yeah. So that's how many you get from the 100 yen shop, so there's plenty in there to keep me going. Okay, so the ink's now flowing through, and it's so nice. It is a gorgeous olive colour, so definitely not a brown, definitely more of an olive, quite light, but it is beautiful. So I suppose the reason I like doing outlines with coloured inks is because I don't have the control. I've seen people do beautiful watercolours and then they outline at the end with a brush, like a really fine brush. And I suppose I don't have the control to do such fine lines. I mean, it does mean you're limited with colours, but you can get some really nice ink colours now. I just shoved the rest of the ink that was in the dropper. I kind of squeezed it into this paint water here. Just in case I wanted to play with it. It's actually mixed up with this one now. So it seems like it's obviously not waterproof. I don't think many or any of the Iroshizuku series are, so they will reactivate with water. But I do have a grey one, which is actually almost waterproof. This one, I've forgotten what it's called. Let's open it. Kirisame. So this is like a grey colour. I won't get it out, but it's the big one. And this one, when you write with that, it is actually... I haven't got it inked up, have I? It is actually fairly waterproof. And while I'm at it, these are the others that I have. I got these for my birthday from my husband last year. So I have Tsutsuji, which is like a pink, pink colour. Tsukiyo, focus, thank you. Tsukiyo, which is a blue, and Momiji, which is more of like an orangey pink. So those are really nice to play with, basically. When I have the full collection, one day I'll do like a swatching video or something, but for the moment that's what I've got. I do have, I've got the ink catalogue, sort of, well it's not really a catalogue, but I picked this up ages ago, which has them all on. So you can see all the different, if I can get it in frame, all the different ones there. So I've done a circle on all the ones that I own. So I've just got, which one did I just get? Inaho. So I'm going to circle Inaho. Yeah, this one. So this is definitely the one I wanted to try. So you can see in their swatch it's also sort of a greeny brown. There's more of an orangey dark reddy brown and a brown, blacky brown there. But yeah, that's what they look like. So I'm going to just play around with that from now on, really, and that's what I'm going to do. I've got to get at the house early today. I've got to pop to my son's nursery for a meeting, so I'm sort of at limited time, so I'm just going to do a bit of drawing and kind of not give myself any pressure today, basically, to get anything done. So, see you in a bit. So this is the kind of the doodle page I ended up doing, and it was really nice. It was just a play, really. It's a gorgeous ink. I really enjoyed doodling with it, and I kind of did a combination of using it as a pen and doing a bit of an ink wash. And I also found a couple of other pens in my stash, a Zig brush and a Zebra Sarasa that kind of complemented it, so I kind of included those. Found out what the name was called, the name meant, and just enjoyed myself, really. Now this is later on in the day, after the meeting at my son's nursery. And I found it quite hard. When I arrived, it was a lot more formal than I expected, and there was a lot more things I didn't really understand. And everything's fine, you know. It was like, as far as I can tell, everything, there's no problems at all. I mean, I know my son, I know he's fine and there's nothing wrong with him. But it's just the sensation of me being the only parent going to the meeting and not being able to understand. And I was quite upset when I left, to be honest. I mean, I'm not going to get too personal on this blog, obviously, but it's very hard living in another country, not understanding the language very well, having to go to like meetings about your son or take him to the doctors and not understanding what's being said. And therefore basically feeling like you're not being a good enough parent because you can't take proper care of your child if you can't talk to the doctor properly or the teacher properly. Anyway, so I was feeling quite, a little bit low, so I just decided to do my Lego homework. So my Lego homework is, my son is really obsessed with Lego at the moment, and I mentioned this on Instagram a few times, but basically in the morning he says, "Mummy, can you make me a so-and-so today?" And I'm like, well, I'll try if I have time. And, if it's something quite simple, it's fine. But he asked me to make Bumblebee, the Transformers Bumblebee, and I'm like, maybe not. But this day he just said, "A robot, please." And I was like, okay, I can do that. Robots are kind of square and chunky and Lego shaped. So normally I do this during my lunch break. After I've eaten my lunch, I'd pop into the playroom and just throw something together. But I came back from the meeting and I just thought I can't concentrate on anything else. So I made him his little robot figure. And then this is me drawing out the instructions. And the instructions are really hard to understand because they're not like properly done. They're just like arrows here and there. And but it's quite fun to do, drawing out all the shapes and colouring them in. It's kind of fun to do in a there's no pressure. Like my son's not going to look at it and go, "Wow, that's not drawn very well, and the perspective on that piece of Lego is not correct." So it basically, it's a low stress exercise, and it does involve drawings. I figure it's quite good to do. And he comes out of his nursery and he's like, "Mummy, did you make it? Did you make it?" And I'm like, hopefully I say yes, and he's quite happy to come home with me, and he spends the first, half hour trying to follow my instructions. So I'm quite happy to do this. So I did this to kind of cheer myself up a bit, really. And to make me feel like I wasn't such a useless mum, basically. I know I'm not, but anyway, let's not go down that route again. So this is me doing my Lego homework. So once I've done the instructions, I kind of fold it up, shove it in a little bag, and pop all the pieces in, and then that's ready for when he comes home. And there was one day last week where I forgot to do it, or I ran out of time, and we didn't have a good evening. We didn't have a good evening that day, so I have to try really hard to remember to do it. I mean, I have said, if I have a really busy day, I might not necessarily get it done, which he's agreed to, but yeah. So Thursday for me was a free day. I had no appointments, no visits. So I decided I'm just going to spend the morning playing with pen and ink because I really enjoyed using that new ink from yesterday. So I got it out again, and I got a little watercolor set out as well, and I kind of picked some colors from there. I made this little travel watercolor set last year. I went to a 100 yen shop, I think it was a Daiso actually, and they sell these little cases to store vitamins in. And I thought, well, that'd be quite good as a little portable travel watercolour set. So I treated myself to some new watercolour paints and mixed up a load of colours that I liked and then put them in. And the other side is just got the stuck down palette, so I can refer to it, and then a load of tissue. So if I'm out, I can sort of dab my brush on there. And I used the Aquarel water brush and my Pilot Kakuno with the Pilot Inohoinken. And in case you're wondering, those feet belong to my flamingos, or our flamingos, I should say, which they came back with us from Mexico. Keep me company. They take up a lot of room, but but they're nice. It's lunchtime, and I'm not gonna become a studio vlogger that shares my lunch every day. But I just wanted to demonstrate that I can manage a healthy lunch sometimes, because I basically have to eat all the scraps that my son refuses, which is usually the healthy stuff. And I'm today treating myself to one of my favorite YouTubers. I love her videos. This is Bev. And she just has this wonderful taste and wonderful way of talking, and I absolutely thoroughly enjoy her videos every time. So you must check her out. I'll put her in the description below. And then it's a bit more Lego homework, but obviously I'm making it more bearable by listening to my favourite YouTubers. It was definitely a YouTube day for me. Relaxing, YouTube, drawing. It's a nice day. So I grabbed my, Nobarasha vintage drawing reference book off the shelf. And I think I'd used this one or part of this one for the flower inspiration. And I thought I've got all these books, I should use them. So I grabbed this one again and had a look to see what there was. And the first section is like famous art pieces, I guess. So I just kind of skipped past that. And then the second section seemed to be like drawing people and figures. The next section was items, like household items, which was lovely. There was even like there's a whole page of stationery items and art items, which was absolutely gorgeous. Really fascinating. So I decided I'm gonna like choose the face pages and have a go at drawing some faces, because the style is so different to what I would normally do. It's really interesting, like vintage Japanese style of drawing. So I just grabbed my pen and I just have a go at drawing them, really, with sort of mixed success. But it's quite nice sometimes to not try to do anything original, to not sit down with a blank piece of paper and think, oh my God, what am I going to draw? Or like try and do something in your own style, or try and practice a new technique. Sometimes it's nice just to copy. And obviously I'm not going to suggest people copy things and sell things, obviously. But it's nice to just it's just practicing using your pen and practicing copying, practicing drawing from, a picture. But it's also really interesting because often you spend time doing this and it influences then what you go on to do without you really noticing. So yeah, it's quite nice to just draw some random little faces. I just picked out the ones from the page that I liked, that stood out to me. Probably I picked the ones that were easier to draw as well. But yeah, that was how I ended my week, really. I didn't do any vlogging for Friday because I decided to give myself a day off. Last week I vlogged all the way through, I think, Monday to Friday. And I'm not saying this was the reason why, but I was absolutely exhausted on Saturday. And I think partly it was just because this was like my first full week of trying to get back into the swing of working and drawing and being creative and thinking about my Etsy shops. After we'd had, a period of lockdown, well, not lockdown, but a period of not going anywhere and my son being home. And I think it just kind of completely knocked me, I don't know what the phrase is, knocked me for 10, I don't know. Anyway, it basically tired me out because Saturday I couldn't do a thing. I was absolutely shattered. And in no exaggeration to say, I kind of got out of bed to make food for us, and I got out of bed to do, the basics, like we got dressed and we brushed teeth and we, ate. But otherwise I was like, I just need to lie down, and I had to lie down the whole day. Absolutely shattered. But I rallied by Sunday, and Sunday we got up and we did things together and played and things, so that was fine. But I don't really want to repeat that, so I'm going to try and take Friday a little bit easier this week and see if that helps. So this is my page of faces finished, just in time to go and pick my son up. So yeah, it was really fun, and I'm kind of looking forward to doing that again. I'll probably do a couple more pages at some point next week, and I might make it a weekly thing. I'm not sure. It's just nice to have the pressure off of being original and just, that's what the book's for. It's supposed to be for, copying and drawing things from. So I love the cute little faces. They're so sweet. Yeah, I stopped there because the next page, they all got a bit complicated, and I was like, no, that's good. I'm good. So I'm probably going to pick up from this page, I think, next week. Okay, I'm going to finish there, I think. That's the end of my studio vlog for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, everybody. You've been really kind with your comments. Too kind. Really complimentary. On Instagram as well. I know some of you follow me on Instagram, and you've been really, really kind about some of the things I've been posting. I've been trying to post a bit more regularly recently, trying to share a bit more of what I'm doing, because I tend to just get on with things and not really talk to anybody. That sounds really bad, but it's true. So it's been nice to kind of communicate with other people a bit more. So thank you to everyone who's commented, and thank you for everybody who's watched. And if you've made it this far, thank you, extra tons, loads, for getting this far, because I really, I really appreciate it. So I hope you all have a good week, because I'll probably end up posting this at the beginning of next week. I hope you all have a lovely week. I hope you're all well, and I'll see you soon.